How do we proceed from 2025 into 2026 in a way that's meaningful and actually builds us some hope that we can live a better life than the lives that we're living today? We can't control that, but we can control the person in our mirror. Trust what resonates. And for the stuff that doesn't make sense, don't throw it away. Store it. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And when was the last time that we asked ourselves, is this the life that I want to have? How is it that the very thing that you want and have aspired for and worked and built your entire life to do, you get there and it doesn't mean anything? Problem with those beautiful virtues and the narratives that reinforce them is they had very little to do with the things I actually value. We are who we are regardless of what we do. But we are capable, because of these brains, because of our imaginations, to create these constructs, to create these avatars, if we want to call them, based on things that have nothing to do with who we are and actually convince ourselves we're that. What is it that I want? How can I answer that question? Because the funny thing, it took me 42 years of my life to ask that question. I never had asked, what does Kevin Howard want? We can answer what we value by doing an inventory of our actual lived experiences. Because as I said, we do know who we are. And so the common thread that I found when I inventoried my lived experiences, and I'm asking you to do the same, is there's nothing that felt better than when I found deep connection with someone or something. And I will say this in historical context. I believe that historians will look back at the last 50 years and say it's worse than medievalism. It had nothing to do with a lack of resource. It had nothing to do with a lack of innovation and technology. We literally withhold what we're capable of doing on behalf of each other so that some people would get it and some people would not. But fulfillment is something different and something categorically different. And it's not because it doesn't involve happiness. It does. It's that the difference between happiness and fulfillment is captured in a principle called the law of diminishing returns. When you live a life of purpose, it produces the greatest thing this life has to offer, which is the ability to feel fulfilled. And that's the thing that never wanes. That's the happiness that never gets old. I exist interdependently, that I literally cannot exist independently. It's just factually true. And oh my God, how dare you say that? I thought you were an American. The idea that that's a virtue is one of the main drivers of the cognitive dissonance that keeps us confused and life seems not to make any sense. If you don't like what you're doing every day, understand that the component of that you own is the choices that you have made up to this point. Full stop. You get to influence how you respond. You get to change if you choose to. And this is our secret sauce. Do you realize, because of the climate crisis, because of the warming of this planet since 1850, that 70% of all species on the earth have gone extinct since 1970? He came back with his hair blown back like he had just gone into the dragon's lair and said, no, they won't do that. They want to keep it opaque, since denialism is running amok. It's a part of the dystopia that we're experiencing because the climate could care less. It's still warming. It's still creating the catastrophic impacts. I am a channeler of energy. I absorb energy I make choices. Those choices deploy the energy. And that decision, those decisions that I make every day co create my journey path, co create the life that I live.